Hiya folks, welcome to North Knives. My name is Jack and I am a knife maker from Cumbria in the UK, and yeah, in this video I'm going to be showing you about this cool project, this knife, so stick around if you want to see it, and if you don't, jog on. There's plenty of cool stuff on YouTube to watch. So yeah, let's get into it. Little sneak preview to keep you interested. Won't notice that. Okay, so this knife is a collaboration between myself and Mensch Chef, otherwise known as Tomaso. And yeah, so it's been a really exciting project. It started last year in 2024, and it's kind of rolled on into this year, although it probably shouldn't have, but it has. I've just finished it today on the 3rd of January. So yeah, I'll tell you about it. Okay, it's been a long week. It's spilling out everywhere. I'm gonna pour myself a little tipple. Not a huge one. Cheers. Okay, so I contacted Tomaso because I'd watched some of his videos and done a little research about him on his website and looked into him a bit, and I thought that the way that I want to run my business and the way that he's running his business are aligned in quite a few different ways. So the first one I want to talk about is sustainability. I really do want to create a sustainable business. I don't mean money wise, obviously I want that, but for the planet and the environment. And so one of the things that I do is I shop local. I try and do it in my life anyway, but in this business, so I'm based in the UK, I'm based in Cumbria, so it's really obvious that I should try and source my steel from Sheffield, because although it's not the capital of steel anymore, it once was, and you can still get a lot of steel there. So yeah, the main steels I offer as standard are all from Sheffield, and pretty sure most of them, the ones I currently offer, are over 95% recycled as well. So really sustainable, and only travelled from coast to coast basically of England. I have used some Swedish steel, and I know they produce their steel in a really sustainable manner as well, and again, it's not travelled too far. Okay, handle materials. I offer reclaimed woods, I offer recycled plastics, yeah, and I'm always trying to use little bits that will get thrown away for anything else. For a knife maker, you really can use some little bits to make nice little inlays and whatever in your handles. In this instance, I have used a stabilised wood, which is stabilised with thermosetting resin, which is essentially a plastic. And I am debating myself how that fits into my model, but also in my short experience, it does seem to create a longer lasting product. So there's definitely more than one way to look at that. This knife is going to be travelling the world with Tomaso, hopefully. So I thought the stabilised wood was the best option. Basically, it's stabilised under vacuum. A thermosetting resin is drawn into the air pockets inside the wood, basically, and then you set that resin in there with heat. So where moisture could get in, it can't so much now because there's a resin there in its place. So you have essentially turned it into a sort of plastic wood, but it should be able to handle different environments, temperatures, humidities much more easily, and hopefully it won't have any issues wherever he takes it. So another reason why I chose Tomaso to work with is because he's vegan, and his business is vegan, and he's based on health and well-being. He puts out loads of video content about making delicious vegan food, making it easy for people to understand or transition or whatever. Honestly, I don't care what your diet is, but I am vegan, and so it aligns with how I feel and how I'm happy living. So that's another big reason, and yeah, really happy that we could do this project together. So the project we decided on is this absolutely massive cleaver, which is a complete weapon, to be honest. Fairly conclusive, very sharp, or thereabouts. Should I start tuning my knives? Is that crazy? So I honestly thought it was quite hilarious that a vegan chef was asking a vegan knife maker for a huge cleaver, but it's not what we might commonly associate with a cleaver in the West. It is a super thin knife behind the edge, at least. It's super tall, and it's super long. So Tomaso gave me a few sort of parameters to work within, or two, and obviously I did my own thing a little bit as well. But he wanted something, the larger end of the scale. He wanted over 8 inches, and it's come out, the length of the blade is 212 millimeters, which is slightly over 8¼ inches. So it's a long blade. And the height is 108 millimeters, this distance here. So that's a really tall blade, and although I've made much longer knives, because of the height, this is the biggest blade I've ever made. It's huge. So a lot of real estate to work on. The handle length is 142 millimeters, which is around about, it's over 5 inches, like just less than 6 inches. And the height at the highest point is about 32 mil here. The total length of the entire knife is 337. I obviously forgot to read here because it's actually 373 millimeters long. So it's long, and the total height when you add the little lip to the handle is 111 millimeters, and the total weight is 412 grams. Now, Tomaso wanted it to be a bit more like 300 grams, but I went for like the largest parameters that he'd sort of given. So I've done my best to reduce the weight on this, and I don't know the best way to show this. Maybe get some other angles, but there is a distal taper along the spine, so it's 3mm here, and then it goes down to 2mm here. It's a compound grind, so although it's a right-handed knife, it's pretty flat on this side, although it's slightly convex because the distal taper is actually, the way I did it, the taper's really confined to the upper region of the knife, so I don't know if this makes sense to any of you, but as you go down the blade, it becomes more convex as the spine gets thinner. That makes sense. I don't know if you can see it in that sort of, it's subtle. Anyway, and then, so this side is flat for your left hand holding food and your claw, and then this side has a C grind, or sometimes it's called an asymmetrical S grind, where I've basically, again, it's like concave, slightly concave, but I've ground into the knife here. Okay, I promise you, I've still got most of that drink, but it is 2 in the morning. So I meant that the blade is convex on both sides, but I've ground in the C grind is concave. Now, I'll have to show you another blade because I fucked this up a while ago on a different knife, so I had to be a bit cautious. It's a little bit higher than, maybe I'll be a bit braver and put it lower next time. And also, this C grind does work better if you leave it more like sharp edges, so the food will fall off, but I wanted a sort of smooth blended look, and yeah, I think this is going to work great. Okay, just take you out to the workshop for a second. I'll show you this. This is one of my, it looks tiny now, but this is, it felt big before. This is a fairly normal size cleaver, I would say. It's about 7 inches long and maybe something like 75mm high, deep there. So I did a C grind on this one. I was starting with thinner stock, and I tried it quite low. You can see it's still a mess because I gave up, but I went right through the knife in 2 places, one in the middle there. You can see where it's burnt, it's the temper's gone, and also the blades, it doesn't snap, surprisingly, but it's yeah, that's not what you want. And that, you know, it's quite devastating. That knife was like heat treated, I'd fully ground all the bevels, and it was pretty much put the handle on and it was ready to go. Yeah, so next time I do one of those massive cleavers, I might get a bit more daring and put the C grind a bit lower. It nicked me before. It's when I was cleaning the bugger. Anyway, yeah, I've never made a knife so big that with the pinch grip. Obviously, most people use the thumb and the first finger. But a big knife like this, it's actually really nice to use 2 fingers. Just have your 2 fingers left wrapped around the handle, and that's, you're barely using any of the handle. But the weight for a knife of such great size, it's balanced right there. If you can see that, it's around about the logo, my logo. So it's pretty perfect. Really nice balance for me, anyway. Slightly forward. This knife, the edge is so straight, rolled slightly at the tip, so you don't dig into the chopping board, but it's so straight. So it's basic. There's not going to be any rock chop action with this baby. It's just straight push chop, I imagine. But I'm sure Tomaso is going to tell me how he does with it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing how he gets on with it. Any constructive criticism, feedback. I'm sure he's going to tell me exactly, you know, what could be improved, or what he likes, what he doesn't like. And yeah, I'm really excited for him to get it. I am having to heavily resist the urge not to try this out properly. So I didn't get a chance to do a prototype. I know new blades, I normally always prototype, I just didn't have time. I do test every blade, but I test it before I put an edge on it. I test it before I put a handle on it, to test all the blade geometry. So I know deep down it's a good knife, but I really want to try it. Okay, so it's about time to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. Give me a like and subscribe if you want to see more of what I'm getting on with. My next project is a really exciting project. Hopefully, I didn't have time to film any of this, but I haven't done in a while actually, but hopefully I'd really like to film this next one, like all the little steps, so hopefully I can do that. Of course, I forgot to tell you really important details about this knife. It's the Steel's 8TCRV2, which I've used before, I love it, and I've heat treated it to 60 HRC. The handle is ancient bog oak. This one, I normally use an English supplier for the bog oak, but I normally don't use stabilised bog oak, and I got this stabilised bog oak from Ukraine. So the English supplier, they actually carbon date, not every piece, but they carbon date their like batches, and it's carbon dated to 3300 BC, so that's over 5,000 years old. No idea how old this one is, but they're generally, I think the accepted time frame is anywhere from like 3,000 to 7,000 years old. So it's, I don't know, I think that's super cool. And these were some offcuts. I got sent this by a really nice supplier. They just chucked it in for free on one order. I think it might be, it's green dyed, whatever it was, and I put some green spacers in, and of course inside here, the way I make my hidden tang, so Japanese inspired knives, they have a beech dowel inside. Yeah, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up, get some wax on it. I've got my new wax that's gonna get included with this. New blade and handle wax from North Knives, available with every purchase. Oh, waxy. And get it sent off in the morning, and wish it safe travels along to Tomaso. I think he might be in Thailand at the moment, but I think he's traveling all around this year, so look out. There might be some future collaborations between us, I don't know, and hopefully he's going to be using this on some content, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Take care. Happy New Year.